I mean,
I was very happy
even
that
to
she
her
was
last
back
year,
for-
she was redoing things and working at it and, just take 30-something years as a teacher. And
Oh, she
you'd be
inflated
on
his
cruise
classes
control,
head.
but she was never.
She was good.
Okay, we'll give Vince a minute. I didn't realize his phone was gonna ring when I was getting this going. I will give it a little quick start and do the intro. Good evening, everybody. It is 5 o'clock sharp, and it is March 12th, Tuesday, March 12th. This is the City of Kingston Tree Commission meeting. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the planning director for the City of Kingston, and our office is the administration for the Tree Commission. I want to just do a couple quick notifications, and then we will introduce the commission members who are here and our guests. If you do have a cell phone, I just ask that you silence it so that it does not interfere or interrupt the meeting. If you need to have a conversation, we just ask that you take it outside of the room if it's not what the commission is discussing at the time. There's chambers out the door to my left. There's another conference room on the other side as well if you want more privacy. The bathrooms, male and female, are through the chambers. If you take a left when you exit the chamber on the other side, you have the men's room. Right would be the women's room. In case of emergency, we ask that you do not use the elevator. If you need assistance, please ask one of us and we will help you down the stairs. Other than that, I think I have covered most of it. I'm going to begin by introducing Kyla. Dide is my assistant planner, so she's here to take some notes and help with us projecting. We are recording and live streaming this so that everyone is aware. I'm going to start, Karine, with you and ask you just to we'll go around the table and introduce ourselves.
So Karine Dide, member of the Tree Commission.
Fitz Archer, member of the Tree Commission.
Amanda O'Neill, member of the Tree Commission.
Jason Prizzi, teacher at Kingston High School.
Evan King, member of Tree Commission.
Elizabeth Collins, representative of the Memorial Tree Fund on the Tree Commission.
Okay, and
I'm George Fovis, an observer at the DC.
thank you.
I'm Laura Ricky, I'm asking about a tree that I don't.
Okay,
Anthony Fitzpatrick, Livermore.
thank you. Okay, so on our agenda, I just want to note before we start, there was an application on there for Clinton Avenue from the engineering department. Karine has met in the field with representatives of the engineering office. I was not fond of the application, so I asked Karine if she would meet with them in the field to talk about the potential to save the tree.
Is this the 35 Clinton?
No, this is Clinton, this is C,
Okay.
Clinton Avenue Engineering Roadway. It's actually 2 Pearl Street is the legal address, it's a corner lot.
Okay.
So Karine, do you want to just speak to that? Because they've asked for it to be tabled because they're going to try to do some adjustment on their design.
Yeah, so I mean, we met with Keith and looked at the tree. I mean, it's a beautiful tree, it's gorgeous. It needs some pruning for sure, because there's some overbranching around the house. And so we looked at where the crosswalk was going, because this is what was deciding on the tree. And so we tried to find a middle ground between where it is now, where they proposed it, and where it could be. So it was like, like this kind of like a little adjustment about the design, also like, able to kind of raise the sidewalk a little, to kind of keep the roots, and just like make enough to slope down to meet, like the grading and extending like the sidewalk a little, and looking also at the property line to see if there's some room to kind of like try to the deviation. So all this, like 1 foot here, 1 foot there, just kind of
Right.
like trying to save it. So Kissy was going back to kind of like, so
Yep.
he's working on that. That's amazing. That's great.
Which I think is great because it's a beautiful tree and it's really relatively very healthy. Like Karine said, it needs a little bit of pruning. And, it's part of one of the engineering roadway reconstruction projects. And you know, as you're all aware, every time there's one of these road reconstruction projects, they come to us and they ask to remove multiple trees along streets. And yeah, they are replacing with more than the number that they take away. But it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't add up to that same impact because a mature tree at 50-foot height, you know, with a full canopy is very, it's just not, you can't replace it with a 10-foot tree.
Right, and this one is
So-
like, it's really at the corner, so
Right.
it's like a focal point, you know?
Right.
It's like not the one in the back, it's so prominent and it cooled down like this whole intersection.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
So I'm really happy about that. So they've asked to table that one, so we won't be talking about that today. So let's start with 35, actually, you know what? Let's do 17 Clinton Avenue because Miss Ricky is here. I had sent that around to everybody.
Oh, where do you want me to?
You want to come up and join us?
You could sit. I can sit, oh, I won't fight.
I know Laura.
Yes, yeah.
Friendly face.
Friendly face. There we go. So I don't know if people have, because I sent pictures along.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's gonna pull it up for you. what
Oh,
you
excellent,
submitted.
excellent. Excellent, okay. So to summarize, as the pictures get posted, so the tree looks, you know, you look at it from here, it looks like a healthy tree. I put several pictures, you can see there are 8 slides altogether. And as you look closely at the tree, there are a lot of stubs on the tree. And if you were to go to slide 4 for a moment, if you could. So right next to that white car, this is what the tree trunk looks like on the street side of the tree. So I'm really here because I'm here because I think the tree is on its way out. Is it a quarter of the way dead? You know, it's not like 3/4 dead. It's maybe a quarter of the way dead. But I circled every place where there's a stub, and I have several pictures of different angles that show there's stubs all over the place, or places all over the place where branches have come down. And I believe the issue is the injury. It's pretty clear to me that a car hit that tree because that's where the injury is. My concern is if I do get permission to remove the tree, I prefer to not replace it. The reason being, I think that's just going to happen again. So I don't think it's a safe place for a tree. And I've even circled places like on the right-hand picture, the upper left circle is where bark is missing. There's several places where bark is missing. There's like a whole branch where bark is missing on one side. At a distance, it looks like a healthy tree. Close up, it's not really healthy. So the question is what to do. Do we let it live another 10 years? Do we cut off how do you know which branches to cut off to keep it as healthy as it can be? I think that the injury we're looking at on this slide is just going to cause more and more of the tree to die off over time. Do you wait till it's totally dead? Do you say, hey, we know which way? I feel like I know which way the tree is going, which is why I'm here. So, but of course, this is my first time to the Tree Commission in Kingston, so I don't know what your standards are or how your decision-making normally is. And I don't know if you want to see the other slides, because there's different angles and showing different parts of the tree that are missing.
How did it look during the season? Where was
Oh, it's not
it
buds.
fully leaf?
If you look at it, you can see the bud starting.
Yeah.
I just took these pictures a week or two ago.
Okay.
So it's going to bud out. The part of the tree that you can see, but you can see in that picture right there, you can see all the bark missing from that limb. So the tree itself is going to bud out. It's going to be a leafy tree, I predict, this summer, and probably for a bunch of summers to come. But when you look at that branch right there that has no bark, how long is, bit by bit, this tree's going to have to get hacked away. And at what point do you say, hey, let's just jump ahead of the game?
Has the tree ever been pruned?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's got so many stubs, you think it must have been pruned. Believe it or not, I've owned the building and the building is behind us there. It's across the street we're looking at from there. Between my late husband and I, we've owned it for 30 years. I don't recall us ever pruning the tree.
Okay.
Is it
All right.
maple or an oak?
It's a good question. The quick answer is I don't know.
Have you had talked to a removal company that might have an arborist working for them about The health of the tree?
about pruning. Well, it was my tree guy that looked at that and said, hey, you want me to take that one out? And I said, no, and that was about a year ago. And as I think about it, I'm kind of thinking maybe it should be coming out. So yeah, it was a tree removal company, not an arborist per se, but a tree removal company guy that looked at that and said, hey, that tree's going.
Any thoughts, George?
Looks like a maple.
No, I mean, on the.
It looks like it's been cut back, but is it near a place where a lot of trucks
Yeah, exactly.
go over?
Well,
I think so,
there's parking along the side of the street there, right? I imagine it's probably with snow plows
Yeah, if you
and
go slide
garbage
two,
trucks.
go slide two.
It's just pretty high up in every case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the circle is where, and the injury is facing the street. So the red circle is where the injury is. And you can see how close the tree is to the street. There's not a lot of room between the curb and the sidewalk.
I think
That's a lot of Kingston though.
from the pictures, I think somebody needs to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it looked like pretty bad in some of the pictures, and I think somebody just needs to look at the whole tree.
Yeah.
Do you know when did the injury happen?
Do I know when? I don't know. By looking at it, it looks like it's been around for injured a long time
Looks like
ago.
it's healed quite a while ago, from the best it's gonna heal.
Because on the Google map, that is 7 years ago, it seems like there's an injury at that time.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time, it's like, it still, under some, it still looks pretty good.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's just, I think like, it is like, I'm not sure like the other tree commission members, what they think, but at the same time, if let's say we approve the removal, we would like you to plant another tree. But at the same time, it really depends on how, is it possible for us, for you to plant another tree, not at the same location, but maybe in the front, but it seems like, your sidewalk is a relatively,
Yeah, the sidewalks there, there's not a good place in the front. And if you could just, if you would mind flipping through, and I'll tell you where to stop, just to look at the building. Just to go, flip through the slides, just go to the next one, keep going, stop, okay, that's my building.
Yeah,
Go-
it's
go-
right there.
Go back if you would. So, that's the same one. So that is my 17 Clinton Avenue, that is my building. So you can see right by the sidewalk, there's the fence. And I put up the fence because on the other side of the fence is the garbage cans, which generally Kingston does not let you put garbage cans in front of your house, but the house only has about 2 or 3 feet on either side, so you can't get the garbage cans in the back. So I got approval from Kingston to leave the garbage cans in the front, but I put the fence up so you couldn't see them. So there's not really, and behind the fence, I put stone because that's actually a rental building, and with the stone, the tenants can actually roll the garbage cans around. So behind the fence, it is really all stone. So there's not really any place in the front of the house. I'm happy to plant a tree in the back of the house. I'm happy to plant a tree anywhere in Kingston you want a tree, actually. But I think planting it where that one is just gonna have the same thing happen all over again someday.
I just wonder like how wide is the planting bed for the tree? Is like,
Isn't there something that you put on this area where the, what is this outer part called again? The outer part of the tree, the bark,
Cambium?
yeah, where that's peeling back. I thought there was something that you could, on the bare part, something you could put there that seals it and protects it and keeps the cambium from going further. I'm not an expert, but
It's healing on its own, you can't really put anything there, it'll just rot underneath. what you put.
well, that will never close up.
Well, it could if the tree was healthy enough, it looks like it's healthy enough to be,
Yeah, oh,
to be fixing itself, but the question is there any like rot in that center, so somebody should go over there and give it a tap and check it out.
Because what you're saying is a lot of branches have been dropping over the years.
Looks like a lot of stubs, there are a lot of stubs.
Yeah, so the question is, would trimming it help?
I think so, maybe having an arborist look at it, but a lot of it looks like it's still very healthy.
Because I noticed that street
There's
doesn't
not
have
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
trees
trees.
there.
And that's the sad part, you don't
Yeah.
like to take trees
So
down.
you had lumber, look at this, Eric, you had lumber tree, look at this.
Well, the guy, he didn't really look at it. He walked past it and said, "You want me to take that tree down? It looks like it's got a problem." And I said, "No," and that was like a year ago. And anyway, so I haven't had them actually inspect it and do an analysis. But what I will say, and what you can see, if you could look at slide 2, sorry, I'm being
No, that's all right.
I'm being a backseat driver.
No, I like that you're calling them out by number.
Yeah, so slide 2, this is 17 Clinton Avenue up to Greenkill, because 17T intersection with Greenkill. The only 2 trees, there's a tree right behind me that you can't see in this picture, but from my house, from this building to Greenkill, there's nothing but my tree and the dead tree on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a tree-lined area right now and we're.
Which is why taking it out would
Yeah, you hate
make,
to do that.
where it would make a big difference,
Go in the
yeah.
big, go in the opposite direction of what you
Taking
want.
out the only one is.
I wonder if there's somewhere else on this street you could put a tree.
That's safer.
I don't know.
Probably another
I can't
property.
see, but that's somebody else that may have to take care of it.
So I like George, I think.
Yeah.
George. So, I mean, if you have an expert that your tree commission calls on that you want to have go out and look at it, I'm perfectly happy to come back to a future meeting. This is not an urgent issue. So, but it's just if I see which way the tree is going, I don't want it to become a bigger issue because, you know, if we know someday more limbs are going to drop, that can be a hazard to people. So if we know which way the tree is going, it made sense to me to come now rather than when it is a hazard. It's not an urgent situation. I'm very happy to have you have whoever you want look at it. I'm happy to come back and handle it however you like me.
George, would you have time to do that, or Corinne, maybe?
I can stop by and give you some.
Okay,
pointers.
all right, okay, why don't we do that? Why don't
Maybe table
we then just table, I'll need a motion, but, and then allow George and anybody else from the commission who wants to go actually and take a.
So I wonder if just a couple of the branches are removed, then more energy can go to the healing part of it.
Yeah.
Like, what the budding makes it look like in the picture that Evan pulled up, makes it look like it's relatively healthy aside from
Yeah.
a couple of components of it.
I mean, you have a relationship with your own arborist, I'm assuming it's Eric from Limber.
Yeah, Eric's-
Then, I mean, maybe he would also take a look at it too and give us some feedback as well.
Yeah, okay, and that's a good idea.
I just wonder if we can extend also, like, I'm sure what the limit of like the bed is, but to prevent, further injury,
Right.
if there's like any way to extend the planting bed, I don't know, like, it doesn't look very clear to me, like, but if the road is very like, all the way legally or not. But, I don't know if we can get like one more foot of, to kind of like avoid.
It looks pretty narrow because the sidewalk has to be maintained a certain width, right?
You're not moving that sidewalk.
It seems like there's no curves on the streets.
We can get into future planning on that one.
Yeah,
That
lack
road
of
is
the curve is
extremely
what
wide.
I mean, the tree lawn appears to be a bit 3 feet there. I mean, it's larger than
There's no
quite a
curve,
few.
So I didn't hear that too many is going. Sorry, we listen to you guys first, but then we'll listen.
We were just talking about the size of the tree lawn, I mean, the area between the curb and the sidewalk. As far as they go, that is, that's one of the wider ones in the midtown area. A lot of times they're like a foot to 2 foot,
Wow.
so that's one of the wider ones, so.
But also with the roadways, the roadway there is extremely wide.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it
It's
is.
very wide.
That's something that the city needs to think about
Right.
in reducing the width of the roadway so that you can have more shading. Because all the shading is important for especially areas like this in terms of heat and energy efficiency and stuff like that. So actually what you do is your kind of area is actually what the area that you'd like to have the trees. But the right trees in the right place.
Yep.
But this is a busy street. Clinton Avenue is a busy street, and the bus goes down there. And especially there was some, I think the Washington Avenue was closed for eons. Then the bus came down this road, so this gets a lot of traffic. So it's probably wide for that reason. I mean, it's not just a little side street. I think it's wide because it gets a
I
lot
think
of
actually
traffic.
it's narrower further down.
Yeah,
It narrows down.
there you go.
Anyway, that's something that needs to be looked at. We're not, that's a planning thing, and the idea there is 2 feet or 3 feet. It's not like change it by 10 feet, you know?
Well, sure, but even 2 feet, even if that curb were out 2 more feet, I wouldn't worry nearly as much about anything, planting a new tree. But with it the way it is, I think planting a new tree is just gonna go the same way as this one.
At least a big tree, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say,
Good point.
get a smaller tree.
Well, but anything can be hit by a plow or a car, that's my worry. And again, but because I've got the other side is where the garbage cans are, it's not like I can plant it on the other side of the sidewalk, there's not really a place to plant it on the other side of the sidewalk. I can plant it in the backyard, but that's not gonna help your streetscape.
Good points. All right, so I need, okay,
Okay, so make a motion to table it in order for tree commission members and George to take a look at it and ideally her arborist.
okay, so there's a motion to table and for opinion, to get arborist opinion. Is there a second? Second by Evan. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous.
Do I plan to come back next month?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then if you reach out to Eric and Eric has questions, he can call me,
Sure,
all right,
okay,
or the office.
okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, and the date of the next meeting is?
April 9th.
Second Tuesday.
Okay, fine. Sounds good. I think I got things, got commitments.
Okay,
So it's
great,
with you
thank
all.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
35 Clinton?
Okay.
Thanks.
See 35 in the application.
Yeah, I don't know that that came in.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it wasn't in what you sent us.
No, it
Two
was,
Pearl and 17.
yeah, I think it was verbal, but, all right, so we'll skip over that. The other Clinton is off. We do have one though, 34 Crane Street. Is that in there? Okay. This was one that was from last month. It's a neighbor complaint. The tree is not in good health. I'd suggested people go and take a look at it. I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to go look at this. You pull up the, Google map.
Or what was it on Crane?
It's 34 Crane. DPW did go look at this. The opinion was neither here nor there. It said, I took a look at the tree. I do agree it appears to not be in good health. There are quite a few limbs that have broken off, as well as some that have been pruned and have not healed properly. It's correct that it is heaving the sidewalk and interfering with the overhead service wires. At the same time, he noted the tree on the opposite side of the street, 39, which is roughly in the same age and size and appears to be suffering the same problems. So this is from a neighbor who has concerns because they are experiencing a lot of limb dropping with the frequent storm events that we've been having. DPW really is not a committal here. I'd rather see it pruned. This is a image from September of 23. So it's
I went through and saw this one. It just looked like it needed to be pruned.
pruned.
Yeah,
That's what I
knew
would,
this one sounded
I
familiar.
would prefer pruning on this, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are the branches dropping in their driveway?
Yeah, the driveway that you see there in the picture, I believe is his, because it's kind of right next door.
But it looked like all small.
Yes, you can
Pieces
see a
up high
dead limb
that
there
wasn't-
in that
Yeah.
picture.
And it might be there's more, I don't know if there's another tree in the back that's bought. It almost looks like there's more tree over the roadway than there is over the property. Maybe they could just balance it out.
It just looked like. it
I don't know
needed
if
to
I'm
get-
Well, we
seeing
can
another
recommend
tree in the
pruning to
background.
start.
Yeah,
I think that's appropriate. All right. Somebody want to make a motion? Okay, so Vince is a motion to prune with a license, okay, licensed arborist.
Right.
And all the standard precautions
Insurance.
we will add into the decision. And Tebby, you're seconding?
Yes.
I looked at it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't look bad.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay.
You
Send
said
that.
there was another tree on Crane Street, you said? Or the-
Across the street.
There's one on the opposite side of the street that we'll take a look at.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bring that back later. All right, so let's move into Arbor Day. I know that Amanda has a lot to report to us for George Washington School. I also, John is here, John Prizzi is from the high school. And when he saw that we were doing an Arbor Day celebration, he got interested and wanted to think about doing something at the high school as well. So I invited him to come to this meeting. So we'll hear from Amanda first and what her program is going to be, and then we'll speak with John.
So, the music teacher at George Washington is the one that's spearheading the committee, Lisa Graziano. And, so getting back to me, they want to start at 10 a.m., which sounds great, because remember, last month I said that the worry was that they wanted all village celebration, and part of the Children's House includes the pre-K students, and they get dismissed an hour earlier. So they wanted to have the celebration where it wasn't going to affect the dismissal. So 10 works out, and the different components of the event were going to be that the Peace Singers, which is a granted position, are going to be doing a little singing of a song that they're practicing with an after-school program. The Children's House, which is the 3, 4, and 5-year-old students, are doing a poetry activity. And the recital project with one of the E1 classes, which is first, second, and third, Mr. Pettit's class will be doing that event where they're going to be showing their artwork. And they're finishing with a whole school-wide song, so she was able to bring that to fruition, which sounds so cute. Oh my God. And then, if there's a huge turnout, so they're kind of still playing with, depending on when Buildings and Grounds comes back with the actual location of where it's going to be planted versus spacing, especially with an all-student activity. They were going to move it into the backyard where they had outdoor chorus singings. It's kind of like where the pavement part is, where the goes out to the playground, goes out to Washington. They were going to have the activity over there if it didn't present enough room to be by where the tree was going to get planted, and we kind of toggle back and forth between the two spots. So that's the only thing that's still kind of dependent on the tree location. Before next meeting, obviously, we will have the complete tree location, and still 20 days, well, 19 days before the event. So we'll do the last check-in then, unless anybody has any questions that they want to do.
So, are they doing a program, or do they want us to help, design? Usually the school would design the artwork for the program and put it together. Is that something they would want to handle?
I'll ask her. Last year I created it,
Okay,
so I really don't mind. Candace, my friend. I love
okay,
so, I mean, I don't mind making the program again, so I'll try to talk to her, maybe do it in conjunction with her, and we can do it together or something.
okay, well, we can print it, we'll do the copy.
And then I'll share the printable PDF with you.
Yep, okay, all right, great. And then if you just can find out if the school district will do the hole, will dig the hole, and then we will coordinate with,
But I
guess
guess I
we-
think that the guy's name last name was Tom, I think he retired, so I'll find out who took his position.
okay, okay. And we'll just reach out to Annie, Tebby, or is that something you wanna,
Yeah, I can reach out to Annie. I mean, we're definitely paying for the tree.
okay.
The question is, who's gonna pick the tree out, and she will pay for it.
Usually Mark and Kyla
So
go.
Usually we go
Tree
there,
again.
we have them mark it, and then she goes and
It was
pays.
definitely a
So-
sugar maple that they wanted.
So I would say if you and Mark will pick the tree
Okay.
out, then you can just call her, 'cause she knows both of
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And, if you call her directly, then she'll make sure it gets paid.
And the dollar amount was 500, right? Yeah. Okay, so that has to be recognized on the program too, the donation of the,
Yeah, it was last.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. I'll
okay.
probably just go back to the old one and make sure I pull over
Okay.
anything that's
And
important.
in past years, I had to write a letter to the superintendent. Is that's,
I thought we already did that. When we first started with the communication, there was going to be, you were gonna submit the letter to the woman for board approval. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think.
yeah.
So we
I'll
corresponded.
check and see if I did. I'll make sure I did.
Okay. Because it was like it's all that is a formality where the board,
Yeah.
like, the board that acknowledges it and says, yes, we'll accept the donation.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Anything else do you need from us?
I don't think so. I think that we're just in the final stages. They're busy working
Okay.
on their activity and we just need a location.
Okay, so we will advise the mayor's office of the date and
Mhm.
time. We'll get the proclamation,
And
from him.
I put in for a personal day to be able to come out for that.
Okay.
If we are going to have kids read poetry, I don't know if 3, 4, 5-year-olds would read their own poetry. Is it gonna be just
I think it's just like
posted?
maybe like a group.
Okay, because I remember we had poetry reading twice, and the one time wasn't too bad, I could get close enough to hear, but one time I couldn't hear a word the person said. Some of the tree commission people are older and have hearing problems, and they, not tree commission, Memorial Tree Fund people like to show up, and they're like, we can't hear a word. It'd be great if we
It
could have
sounds like
some
it
kind
was
of,
a poem,
okay, and maybe they're all gonna read it together.
maybe.
I was just gonna suggest, could we get a portable?
They do have a portable mic because we
Mic.
use that for like the trunk and treat, because they make me go out there and say things. So, they do
That would
have
be
that.
my only suggestion from
So I'll
past
ask Ms.
times. Okay.
Olianko that too when I confirm the location.
I mean, a group singing, I think that's
That's
fine,
gonna be so cute.
you know, so, but if one person is reading, some of them don't project.
Yeah, well, even last year with, down at the neighborhood center, it was hard to hear some of the kids reading, you know, what they had
Especially the
written.
time of day, 'cause we had all those
Yes.
buses going by, that was
Yes.
Right.
so
And
loud.
one year, I think there was a lot of wind, so it's
The
like,
wind was where we did the middle schools. I know
yes.
exactly what you're talking about. And that was the poetry one, and all we heard was like the microphone with the.
So, anyway, just.
You never know what you're gonna get in April.
Okay.
And do you need some help to find the location of the tree?
I don't think so, because they did a couple of tree plantings, and I think what they're looking at is over by that residence, the elderly home or whatever, the backyard of it, which is next door to their gardens. So if you're coming from Washington, they have their gardens, and then there's this big open area, and that's where they lost their big trees. So I think
Right.
that from what I was hearing is that they're kind of looking at, because they're still stumps, like where can they, without messing up any flow of things, kind of bring a tree back to that area that's so empty now. So I'm feeling like that's the area that they're gonna put it in.
Because I know we had talked about too, somewhere near the new bike rack.
And that's just on the other
Like
side
shade, yeah.
of the bike rack, yeah. So maybe if they plant it right on the other side of that,
Yeah, that
entrance
was-
way to the Phys Ed, that would be
Right.
cool too.
Okay, good. All right, great. John, what are your thoughts?
Well, we, at the high school, we celebrate Earth Week. Me and several other earth science teachers and some biology teachers do a variety of things. I teach college environmental science and earth science. And over the last 2-3 years, we've been planting some trees. Our high school has had new construction, and it's left some areas slightly unsightly. And areas that desperately could use some trees. So last year we planted 5 maples and 4 flowering cherries. And I got that money was some money from the high school, some money from the district. I'm in the process right now of asking for money. And I thought I would reach out to Julie, because we speak and she comes to classes and stuff like that. So I thought she might have some opportunities for us. So So that's all I'm looking for. If this is something you want to get behind, we'd love to be able to plant a couple trees for you on our campus. We've got an area that we're kind of focusing on. I don't know if you're familiar with the high school, but the new Salzman entrance has a small-ish lot right in
Yeah.
front of it. And on the far side of that, as if you were traveling towards the old Sophie Finn Elementary School, is in need. And that's where we planted the maples, and I'd like to actually put in some evergreens, kind of sprinkle them in, and just kind of, start to kind of work on that area.
Okay. I mean, I would, the commission does have funds for tree planting. I would be open to providing funds for a couple of trees on the high school campus as part of your overall, because it sounds like you really have a great program going over there. And so if we can, contribute to that, I think that would.
And this is
be-
for this year.
Yeah, we would do this.
'Cause I feel like-
Basically in a month from now.
We've got this other program going. I'm not sure we could do a program with you this year.
Yeah, I mean,
Certainly.
We don't
contributes to
necessarily,
planting
we don't
trees.
do a program like that. We basically, the week of, Earth Week, I'm bringing my kids out there, they're digging the holes, we're, getting shovels. We have a big, we have a nice shed of garden tools, because we have agricultural science teachers who have a garden, they have fruit trees, so,
And is there a day where there's like a ceremony or something? to
there
that
could
effect?
be, we've never done that before. The ceremony is us getting dirty and planting trees.
I'm just thinking if you do this every year, we could put, because we're gonna do the high school one year, and then COVID came along or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
I
we could do
definitely
it-
want to do it every
In
year.
2025, the tree commission could get more behind it,
Mhm.
maybe come to
Do
some
our Arbor
ceremony
Day
for
ceremony
you.
Or do a bigger
ceremony
one.
there.
Because,
That'd be
when
great.
we do this, the mayor always comes and like their
Mhm.
activities, so maybe we could combine with you guys.
Yeah, and if you wanted a photo op type thing, we could always have, somebody come over and.
Normally it's like bringing something in with the students, like, I mean, obviously the elementary level, but when we did, and this was during COVID, when I first started talking to central office about things, they said that with the construction of the high school, to look at the high school in the years to come, kind of like put a pin in it. Because the landscaping ideas hadn't been completely set out. So that's when we did, the middle schools.
Okay.
And you guys did the Miller tree? Because
I
Miller's
was
not in the
at,
city.
I was
of
at
Kingston.
Miller and I was at,
Yeah, with JWB.
I was at
Yeah, we
J.
did
Watson
both.
Valley, and they did the
Well,
English.
Somebody
teachers
else covered the
thing.
cost of the Miller tree.
I think the Memorial Tree Fund.
Yeah.
Memorial Tree Fund are both.
Okay, because one is outside of the city of Kingston and then obviously Bailey's part of it. But we did, a poetry writing contest and then the kids came out and the theme was the sugar.
Sugar maple, yes, because it was sugar maple.
There's been a couple of years, because there's been 2 years in between where we did something in 2 different locations. 'Cause we did like the rec center last year.
The rec center, and the year
And the
before
year
was the
before that
garden,
was-
We could
The-
easily
the-
pull in
the community garden
Community.
we did.
teachers to have them do
Or the
something.
arts,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's lots of different ideas. So normally the central office individual will reach out to maybe the principal or somebody else.
Central office at
Kingston,
Kingston
yeah.
High Schools, okay.
And
But
then,
if we say we're interested in doing a program at high school next year, I mean,
and we could say that like you're
Yeah, you could be
our
our,
go-to.
Okay.
Then they could kind of take that element out, because they normally just reach out to the building principals to find that committee, like the music teachers leading it, so you could be the one leading it. And we could just work in conjunction. I mean, I'm a teacher too, so normally that's why I'm the one that jumps on it to work with the teachers.
Right.
I just work in a different districts.
But for this year, I thought we have a tree program. So we allocate this 2 tree to Kingston High School.
yeah, I think we should do that this year, and then try to do more of
An
a
event next
program,
year.
less
That would be great, yeah, we would love that. And that would give us a little time to kind of put a plan together for the program.
And even if it's just like some of your environmental studies students talking about their project
Oh, yeah.
or what they do, or,
Oh, yeah, I mean, and quite honestly, it's not just me. I have, we have several science teachers who are, we have like a little plant sale, because they're rooting all kinds of different plants. So like during the lunch period, they have all these plants the kids all buy, I mean, they go through, and that's how they help raise some money for their the gardens, their vegetable gardens.
So those are things that can be showcased at the Arbor Day ceremony. It doesn't necessarily need to be something that the English teacher is like, why not focus on the sciences?
Mhm.
And say what you did this year,
Right.
next year, and what you're continuing to do, like beautify the property and what you're teaching and the fundraising, like those are all great things that the students can speak about. And they can talk about like their experiences
Mhm.
with it and what, what it means to them.
We've been working hard for a couple of years to try to get the whole school to recycle. That's a whole nother subject though.
Those are great things that different individuals that, have that desire for the presentational speaking can come out and speak on.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to know that in the sciences, I'm taught biology as well. To hear what you're teaching and that you're teaching kids about the environment and what's going on in the environment, and how they can work and, protect it or make it a better place.
Yeah, we have quite a few.
Yeah, focus on the
environmental
sciences.
science /
That would be great.
colleges.
Yeah, I went to the high school for the first time last week. Like from the back, because from the front it's a different story. From the back was like, what happened? It's just like, it's amazing. It's a different world. It's huge.
Yes.
And it's like, it feels like it's a bare canvas, and just like, I mean, I'm a designer, so I'm kind of like, I see anybody like, oh, we can do this here, like when you're talking, I was like, we could be like doing like some workshop with a student to kind of design, kind of like feeling like how they want to use the space and kind of plan the trees strategically.
That sounds great, actually, because the area we're looking at, the kids have talked about having a place to be able to eat outside.
Yeah.
And we have technically a closed campus, but kids can earn, passes to go out for lunch and stuff like that. And that area would be perfect for a couple tables and.
And that's really Corinne's
Uh,
wheelhouse, because that's what she does.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to have
Yeah.
you come over and we can walk the
Yeah,
area.
she'd be
and-
great to help with
Yeah.
that.
I mean, the old MJM building, my classroom was right at the end and for, I don't know, 10 years or so, I was adding more and more flowering shrubs and trees and, all kinds of flowers and stuff. And then when they tore that down, I ran out there and I was like, is there any chance with your front end loader, you could move all these things over there? And they did. And
Oh, that's great.
we saved quite a bit and moved it closer to the bus turnaround. So we have a nice bed there now. But yeah, it was
That's a
years
great
in the making.
story.
Yeah.
It's always a shock when you have a campus and all of a sudden something disappears and you're like, why did they do that? That was like this little environmental niche that we.
One of our first Arbor Days, we planted an evergreen up there by the MJM building. And I'm sure that probably got taken, it's gone now, got taken away, but yeah, that was one of our first, and it was the only evergreen I think we ever planted.
We had a new master president come in and she decided to come over to the biology building and clean out like this whole area where all these trees were. They just did it. And the biology professors and the environmentalists were like, I used to take my students out there, what did you do? And they were like, she was an art historian. They thought they were cleaning the place up and everybody else was like, we just took away all these little environmental niches that we used to use for study. Yeah.
All right, so
It's
I guess
birthday.
what we'll do is I'll work with you, get you a couple of trees.
Okay. That'd be great.
And then, we'll put you on the list for next year.
Do you want me to just email him, so he has my email, and then,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
and then we can revisit this, probably around Christmas time
Great.
and start.
That's awesome.
And you're welcome to come to all our tree commission meetings if you'd like.
Oh, by the way, if I could just say, being that you're science teachers and stuff, the tree commission here, I think, still has it. And we came up with a list of trees that were kind of different. So that I keep hearing sugar maples, I'm like, okay, can we stop that already?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I would like some evergreens, because we did put like 5 maples.
Evergreens are tough too.
Are they? As
Yeah,
far
so-
as,
but we
wanting
have
more
like.
variety. Well, what,
We have a native tree list of
Okay.
their, and they're broken down by sizes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would actually prefer
So there's like
something
a
more
tree
native.
list that give you an idea of other trees with climate change and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can be used and
Okay.
stuff, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There was a-
we focus on native species, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And there was a tree inventory done, what was that, 5 years ago?
Right, this is also very interesting to see
Oh,
that what is
I
exactly
remember
what
seeing
is.
And after the tree inventory, it's like, well, you have a lot of these and not very many of these, and what's the rule? 3, no more than 3 of
Well, there's all sorts of.
one
rules, but
species, I
no
don't
more
know, a
than
certain
10
number of one
no more
species,
than
a certain number
10%
of one
of
genus and
anyone
all
To
that.
simplify,
Okay.
to simplify.
That makes sense.
Just no more than 10%, there's a lot more rules.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of sugar
Bug
maples.
comes in and
So-
takes out a certain type of tree, you don't want to take
Yeah.
out most.
Right, right,
Yes,
that's
exactly,
it.
that's why it's.
Well, yeah, we'd be willing to plant whatever you want to get us.
Okay.
We're thankful and appreciative, so.
Well, we could, you know,
Great.
kind of provide you the list
Okay.
and the ideas. The other thing is that since if it's a planting that you're doing, you know, you might want to think about doing a bare root planting.
You know, we,
If you can organize it, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because that way, you know, they're easy to move around, but they have to be put in the ground within like 3 to 5 days of getting.
right. I have, I've only had one experience with bare rooting. I've always had root balls and, so yeah, I'd be willing to do that. I'm not sure I did it properly the first time I did it, but,
I'm sure we can help with that.
yeah, yeah.
And the trees are categorized, like, you know, this would be good for a street tree, this would be good for a park, this is good under wires, you know, that kind of.
Yeah,
But it depends also like how you want to use the space and how like.
Right,
how you
Well, that's
put
it,
the shapes.
yeah.
So that's why I would like to,
Okay.
yeah, I have to think.
yeah. So you have my email.
I do.
Okay, so you'll pass it along?
Yep.
Is it just the J Prison?
Jay Frizzy at Kingston
Yeah.
City Schools.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fantastic, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Can we also like, because this is going to be a long term, right? So like maybe if we can, like at this
Trees in the front,
first
the
year,
trees are
so
just gonna-
when we
we can
collect
make
it,
contact
we can
for-
also try to identify the ideal location for certain species, like for certain trees for the next year. And that might be ideal or better for your, you know, the future planning, right? Like, you know, first year, second year, what kind of tree we plant this year, the next year, ideally, what kind of tree we would like to, you know, we would
Yeah.
like to see, or, you know, what is going to be beneficial for the school or environment. And I think that would be more, it has a long-term impact for the environment and for the city.
And it comes together more, you know. but-
Do like a master plan.
Yeah.
You want a piece, man, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you have time soon to come over, I mean,
Yes.
okay.
What I will do, I will shoot an email out
Okay,
with all the three of you
Great.
together.
Thank
All
you.
right, so you can,
And Vince brought up including the tree list in the
Yep.
email.
Okay, fantastic.
okay,
Thank you. You have to- But thank you so much. I enjoyed the conversation.
thank you.
Other people who like trees, this is nice.
Thank you.
Yep.
35 Clinton.
That'd be interesting.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's
There's
it.
no pictures, but it came in an email. You want me to show them?
Yeah, yeah. So we're going back to 35 Clinton. Okay. This is one with sewer lines.
Yeah.
Okay, I did reach out to these people and ask them to, get see if we could get their plumber to do a video of it, because just simply saying, we know that in the past, we've had people make statements, and then once the video was done, it wasn't the roots that were the problem, but other factors of tenants maybe
Yeah.
flushing down the wrong products. So, that's what, that was this one, now it's come back to me. Carl Bell was going to be called. So since we don't have anything to affirmatively document that the roots are the cause of the issue, I would say we are not taking any action on this. And I will shoot them back an email, and let them know.
So ask them to have Carl Bell.
Well, that's, I had a
He does-
conversation.
Oh, you've already had.
I
Yeah,
hired him.
they were going to do that, but
I think
He's good.
he's a good guy. I
Yeah, I
hired him to
think
look
he submitted this,
before I
but,
got my phone.
main line is compromised with the police.
yeah, but there's no,
No photos.
no photos.
Scope. So has to be somebody that has some bonding with the city to be able to go out as far as the city lines and be one of the people that do that.
Okay. So we'll table that till next month. All right. We only have 10 minutes because there's a meeting scheduled following us, so just want to go,
If there's time,
huh?
I asked if you came to speak about something.
Do you want to speak about anything to the tree commission?
yeah, if you guys have time, it's kind of like
Yeah.
a huge deal because I kind of think the dormancy of trees is like.
You want to
Getting
come
to
sit
that
at the
point.
table?
Want to come sit at the table?
We're not scary. Come join us.
There's been in Growell, like ongoing conversations about fruit trees, but those conversations happened like 2001. I have looked at some of the trees that are on the Midtown Linear Park, and I noticed that there are, that one of the trees was labeled, it is an apple tree, it's a Honeycrisp apple tree. But the trees next to it, in the tree inventory, all the apple trees are categorized as domestic apple tree. There's thousands of species of apple tree, but, and for an apple tree to produce fruit, you need, two right next to each other, like blooming at the same time. So I'm not sure if you have that going on there. But what you can do, probably not, now is not, it's just about the time when you shouldn't be removing parts of trees, but, you can graft species of trees to each other if you don't want to plant, other trees right next to the trees that you already have planted. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' view on
Okay.
fruit trees.
Yeah, well.
Because they're there.
Yeah, and then I know that, there is a lot of interest in, planting fruit trees, throughout the city. And we planted one, down at the community garden downtown in the Rhonda. We planted one, we talked about planting others down along the rail trail there. I know the, Midtown corridor, that trail system, they were done with the county constructed that, and I believe did all the plantings, so we weren't really part of that. But that's not to say that we're not interested. I know Kareem is very interested in promoting that kind of, those kinds of plantings. We don't endorse it along city streets because it doesn't work as a city street tree, but along the trail system, it makes perfect sense. So I would, be happy to see what we can do to assist you. I don't know that we're prepared to take on a full program to do the whole linear trail system though. I don't know, are you looking to do like a certain section of the trail? Like what is?
So the Midtown Linear Park, there's a long row of trees. And because I looked in like February, I couldn't really identify any of them other than the one tiny apple tree that had a label on it. So those are all,
Okay, so maybe the first step is if we took a section of it and just tried to, I mean, or maybe the county would have the plan, the
Yeah.
planting plan.
Is it by like Cornell Street, that section there, or do you know where?
Or you more towards like where the little, the bridge was just rebuilt over.
I believe it's.
By O'Neill Street, maybe?
So you're kind of looking for a second one next to that so that it can pollinate, is that? Your concern is that there's only one and it might not be,
Yeah, I don't think the one next to it's 100 feet away, and even if.
It's not close enough.
It
yeah.
might be, but even
Okay.
if it's not, it would need to be a different species, and it would need to be, Honeycrisp blooms in like April, so it needs to bloom in April for it to
Okay,
produce fruit.
So are you asking also for help to identify some of those trees? You said there's a bunch of apple trees.
A bunch of trees that you.
Once they have leaves, like, you know.
So they're not all necessarily apple trees. The trees,
Well, I don't know,
You don't know.
just because it's like, there's no leaves, like, you know, but my
Right.
phone would be able to tell me exactly what it is, but I might be able to tell what it is.
Is there a way that maybe you can either contact the planning office or stop by at the next meeting with more of an exact location?
and I can ask, we can ask the
yeah,
county.
we can ask the county,
About
they must have had a planting
plan.
plan when they
Yeah.
did that, when they did the installation.
yes.
They had to have a landscape plan that identified the trees that
Right,
went
right.
in. And I mean, that would be the simplest way to do it, and then find out. I mean, I would be surprised, I mean, the county with their resources, I'm surprised that they didn't put, why plant an apple tree that's not gonna be able to pollinate?
Unless one of them got sick or something along
That's
the way.
possible too, maybe something, yeah.
Well, you know, the species of that, you know, species of that, will be able to like match it up in the catalog. To
Different
see
types
if
of
it's
trees. We'd have to.
Because a lot of the time they just grow crab apple cider.
But here is where there's.
Okay, so
This
this
is
is,
gonna be like a.
oh,
maintained.
right?
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah, that's the train.
Going crazy.
Okay, so
So-
we're headed out from Kingston Plaza.
No maintenance.
So yeah, like there's
Okay,
there and.
okay, this is
This
right
is
in
the
Kingston,
train?
that's the train, that's the Catskill Mountain Railroad train right there. And this is the Westbrook, this is that office complex parking lot, and the trail system runs here. So he's talking about these trees along in here. Okay,
Yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure this.
All right.
This one Honeycrisp tree is that's a
It could
very.
easily be more planted there.
Yeah, hopefully the county can get somebody.
yeah, okay, so that's right at the
So, like,
beginning,
You
yeah,
know, all along like that way, I don't know if, you know, there's,
okay.
you know, it's looking like a young tree. You know, so like.
Yeah.
Does the label, can you still read the label?
Some of the
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm saying.
yeah, it's up in a
So you can cross-reference it with the catalog, you know what to plant.
Because they're smaller now.
Yeah, you can, I just went on the internet, because we're gonna be planting some apple trees.
Yeah.
And in our new property, and I was looking at, there's so many different kinds, but there is a chart
There's a chart.
that shows you which trees bloom at the same time, so you can pick the right tree.
Yeah.
And I picked one tree and it said, oh, it can be pollinated by X, but it will not pollinate other things. So I'm like, oh, darn.
So like, this is definitely like,
Or no Johnny Appleseed.
gonna be, to some extent, Crowell's problem, but,
You just kind of random.
I know,
I mean,
yeah.
uh,
It's somehow it's
I just planted thousands of.
Okay.
Cause yeah, I did look at the tree inventory and, something like, 18 domestic apple trees, 8 domestic pear trees. Yeah.
Can you just write your email down?
Did you say there's another meeting coming in at 6?
You're supposed to be.
Yeah, probably the
CAC.
CAC. Do you have any favorite apple trees that you like? Not try the apple trees. Okay, my husband said, I want 2 apple, he says, I want apple trees.
Okay,
So Karen,
So she gives 11. Okay,
she
great.
put 2 in and.
And you are you with
And we're having 1 chair, we're having a charity.
Yeah,
And blueberries.
live well.
Oh, live on.
Yeah, I think trust her, like, maybe I should get some
Just make sure.
Well, she sent us the list and said, you pick all.
But you
have to have-
No, live
Just make sure they're either sending lips or
Okay,
size
alright.
and not dwarfs because they tend to die a lot.
Okay.
Not.
I'll be tough.
Yes, even the semi
Thank you,
dwarfs
Ben.
die under stress if they're not taken care of.
High school had.
I'm big.
Treating.
The kids can pick them for eating.
Oh,
lunch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just quickly, no real changes to any of the grant, items. Again, we're doing the sharing cost program, like the Memorial Tree Fund. So that's, $5,000 of our 20, is going towards that. The Urban Forester Grant, we have that, is out right now, for the position. It's being advertised. If you know anybody that's interested, the applications are due by March 20th. Let people know, if you want, we can share with you the job spec, if you want to share it with anybody.
Can we share that?
Yeah, you want to share that?
Yeah, it's not on the website yet, but once it is, then I'm gonna share it.
Yeah, if we made it, then we just.
Yeah.
Yep, so if you know anybody that could be interested, that'd be
I'll
great.
share it with a few colleagues that might.
Okay. And we still have not heard about the DEC grant. We submitted it, but we have not heard. So, communication, Vince is going to be going to the March 28th at SUNY New Paltz. He's going to that recognition, event that the DEC is putting on for Tree Cities. So he is going, to represent the city of Kingston.
I wanted to, because that's the day I'm leaving town.
We want you to be on your best behavior, Vince.
Well, it's gonna be wild.
March 28th.
I'll see you there.
We were going out.
Do you want to go? There's two more than, we can have 2 people.
Movie seats that were sent
Yeah,
to
let
the
me
board.
just double check this.
Okay.
So if you're talking to the guy.
I just got an email today, so I was going to let us know.
He got an
Yeah.
extra seat.
Okay.
Oh, that's Monday, Thursday.
You go?
Just FYI.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. I wasn't gonna
Yeah,
go,
I
but-
think I will go.
All right, we'll double check.
We're not going
He's
away.
right there.
Okay.
Right there down the street.
Right down the street.
Yeah, well.
All right, double check, and then maybe you and Vince might want to run together.
Say they.
Okay.
Been on here for 4 years.
He's not listening.
I think he's
I said, I can go to the,
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty sure I can, you were gonna go away, we're not gonna go. We haven't got a copy instead, so. So I said, I can go with you, and I said, we could drive together, and I said, well, you have the coolest cars. Mine is just an old broken down Subaru.
Oh, no, it's good news, you're going for everything.
Well, it's got some issues.
Okay, so it's 6:02. Anything else? Okay, and I need a,
You said you got the state grant, right? You applied for the planting grant or the maintenance grant? What did you?
planting.
Planting.
The planting.
That
was the last one with
Yeah.
the federal money with the 12 million.
it's a combo though, I think,
Yeah,
planting and.
planting, pruning,
We applied for
Pruning
both.
too, yeah, this is tied in with the,
and some
with the ash thing.
Yeah.
But it's not good.
Yes, we applied. So we're waiting. So put the good word in for us.
Right.
Put a good word in.
Well, you've done it, you've done it. I was getting, the only other place that really applied is Poughkeepsie. And I worked with them till the last minute, and they actually did it. Right, $500,000, so.
I really
So
have
motion
to.
to-
Yeah, I have to. Motion to adjourn. Okay, so Debbie motioned, Amanda second. Any? Okay, all in favor? Okay, we're good. So, thank you. All right.
Actually, I have something here that